Greetings, witches and wizards. My name is Magic Maestro. Welcome to the channel. Hogwarts Legacy, the upcoming video game from Warner Brothers Games and Avalanche Software, is set in the 1890s and follows the story of a new 5th-year student at Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. During the November gameplay showcase, game director Alan Tew stated that different interactions with characters can affect the outcome of characters' lives and the game ending. This statement got me thinking about the end of Hogwarts Legacy. What conclusions can we make based on our current understanding of the facts? I have a unique theory supported by what we have seen so far. Let us look at the facts. We know that our character is a 5th-year student who never received a Hogwarts acceptance letter. A student must show signs of magical ability as a child to be admitted. The 4 founders of Hogwarts created the Quill of Acceptance and the Book of Admittance. Both sit in a locked tower of Hogwarts. The quill is believed to be from an augury, a green vulture-looking bird, even though its feathers repel ink. That's magic for you. If the quill senses any magical ability in a child, it will attempt to write their name in the book. The book, however, must allow the name to be entered for the child to be accepted. So we know that the main character was potentially a squib, a gifted child with no apparent aptitude for magic. So how did our character go from 0 to hero? We know of another child in the wizarding world who received a boost of magical power. That would be none other than Harry Potter himself. Voldemort unknowingly transferred some of his powers and abilities to Harry when he attempted to kill Harry. That is the reason why Harry Potter can speak Parseltongue, the snake language. So perhaps our abilities were improved by some magical event. This magical event may be why our character is entering Hogwarts so late. I think it has something to do with the ancient magic that our character seems to be able to control. What else do we know? As stated by Alan Tew during the gameplay showcase, the main character is given the Hogwarts field guide by the Ministry of Magic. Let us think about that for a minute. I have been assuming that the field guide was the handwritten notes of Bathilda Bagshot, author of Hogwarts: A History. However, now that we know the Ministry was behind the field guide, we might be able to assume that there is a lot more writing on the success of our schooling. The Ministry either has plans for us, or knows something important about our destiny. It seems unlikely that the Ministry of Magic would bother to help an average student at Hogwarts. Our character is definitely key to something big. We know that Professor Fig is interested in uncovering the mystery surrounding the Goblin Rebellion. So what do we know about the Goblin Rebellions? We know from the Harry Potter books, the Goblins rebelled against the Ministry of Magic numerous times over the last few hundred years. The Goblins felt discriminated against. The rebellions resulted in bloody and vicious confrontations between goblins and humans. It seems there is indeed mistrust between the two races. In fact, humans refused to share their knowledge of wands with goblins and forbade them from using magic wands. The wand ban of 1631 made it a crime for non-humans to use magic wands. Even during the Harry Potter books, wizards were enslaving elves. So can we really blame goblins for rebelling? It's not mysterious why the goblin Ranrock would ally himself with Victor Rookwood and his dark wizards. He intends to gain control of the Ministry of Magic, exact revenge against humans, and ultimately stab Rookwood in the back. Case closed. We can probably assume that Victor Rookwood has gained some knowledge of the ancient magic that we can control. He may ultimately be responsible for imparting some of his magic upon our character. I think that might mirror the Harry Potter story a little too closely. In any event, we will confront Ranrock and Rookwood during the game. And I have to briefly mention the Skull-Masked character, whose identity remains a mystery. Mastering this ancient magic may give us control of an artifact that could alter the future of the magical world. At the end of the game, we will most likely succeed at foiling Rookwood and Ranrock's plans. But then what? Who lives and dies will most likely be determined by our past interactions with others. Hopefully, the ending is influenced by more than one fateful choice. I have an idea how I think the game could end, but first, we must talk about time turners. If you have read the Harry Potter books or seen the movies, then you know that a time turner is a magical device that allows the user to travel back in time for a few hours. The wearer of a time turner spins a small charm with an hourglass, then suddenly begins to travel back in time. Witches and wizards can travel even further back in time, but doing so is perilous. A witch or wizard traveling back in time could alter events forever, potentially erasing the events that led to their own birth. This is known as the grandfather paradox. Of course, in fantasy and science fiction, we can break those pesky laws of entropy. Hermione violates the laws of entropy by fixing Harry Potter's glasses with a reparo spell. So, Rowling is disrupting time well before we even bring up the idea of time turners in the third book. According to the books, there were many time turners in the Department of Mysteries. We do not know when the first one was made. The hourglass was first documented in the early Middle Ages in the 8th century of the Common Era. Hogwarts was built in the 10th century of the Common Era, so we know it is possible that time turners have been around that long and may even have been used by the founders of Hogwarts. The trailers have led us to believe that the knowledge of ancient magic is elemental. We see the character manipulating physical objects and calling down lightning. However, is anything more magical than time itself? The fact that things fall apart is a consequence of time. Death is a consequence of our biological machinery breaking down over time. If magic can repair a broken pair of glasses or restore a collapsed bridge, then magic is the control of time. Why would we have magic clean our dishes or do our homework? Because it would save us time. Why would we use magic to apparate instead of walking or even flying somewhere? Again, to save time. Controlling time is a fundamental part of all magic. There is no greater control over the flow of time than of the control over death. It is what Victor Flamel sought with the Philosopher's Stone. Voldemort's goal was to become immortal. So now that you have a better understanding of what a time turner does, how could this idea manifest itself in Hogwarts Legacy? I believe we will uncover an ancient artifact that can control time. After defeating our enemies, we will reach our final goal. Perhaps friends have died along the way. Undoubtedly, close relationships will have been forged or broken. We will have a final decision to make. Do we allow the events as we have experienced them to remain as they are, or do we use the magical artifact to alter time? This would give the idea of New Game Plus a whole new meaning. Typically, New Game Plus allows players to replay the game, face more challenging enemies, and maintain some of the abilities learned during the initial playthrough. I think the endgame will let us relive our lives. We will know partially what will happen, just like a time traveler, but there will still be new outcomes because we might make different choices along the way. I could see reliving my life in each of the houses, or choose to use dark arts during one life, or refrain from using them in another. Each time we reach the end of the game, we will be asked if we would like to replay the events of our lives to try and influence the final outcome. I think the true or extended ending cinematic will require at least one additional playthrough. The ancient artifact may not be the time turner that ends up with Hermione Granger, but it would be pretty awesome if it was. Maybe we even get to work as an unspeakable in the time room at the Department of Mysteries. We would bring our knowledge of everything we've come to learn about ancient magic of time and time turning. I think this would make for a great ending. The marketing for the game states Hogwarts Legacy allows us to live the unwritten. We are living out a Wizarding World fantasy that J.K. Rowling never penned to paper. If the game deals with altering time, then living the unwritten is not just a metaphor, it is a fact. Even if time travel is not part of the narrative, we are altering the events of our lives every time we restart the game. And that is pretty magical. But what do you think of this theory? Do you think it has any merit? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos about Hogwarts Legacy, I invite you to subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a magical day. Now go and make the best use of your time. Wizard out.